Ed Nicholson, my first protege experience. My first protege experience, Ed Nicholson. How can we as Toastmasters get more members? In this time of COVID, when it's very difficult to talk to people face to face. So how can we get more members? Perhaps something like what I did, or what happened to me, as my first experience as a protege. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and most welcome guests. Back in 1998, I was absolutely terrified of public speaking. And this leadership thing was always something I left for somebody else. So, despite my management at the time encouraging me to go to Toastmasters, despite a lot of my colleagues talking up Toastmasters, I didn't want to hear anything they had to say, any invitations to go to meetings. Oh, you've got to be with that sort of stuff. Oh, no. That was just no way. So I didn't take up on that opportunity when I first could have. Actually, I could probably have been a charter member of the Chocolate Toastmasters. But at that time, no way, I wasn't going to do that. But later on, quite by accident, I had an opportunity on the local community channel to see a Toastmasters contest. I saw this gentleman standing on a makeshift stage. I think it was just a wooden pallet. He was talking about his first skydive. He walked up to the edge of the pallet, put his hands out like this, as if he was holding on to the door frame of an airplane flying high up in the sky. And then he did a little jump off that little stage. Suddenly, I was not seeing a gentleman give a speech, but I was actually watching somebody jump out of an airplane. That speech caught my interest right away, and that's what made the difference for me when it came to Toastmasters. Now, I still wasn't a Toastmaster. I still wasn't all thrilled and not no longer terrified of public speaking or anything. But it made the difference between me shying away and looking into this Toastmaster thing. Now, I knew the people to contact. They had been trying to contact me for a while. So now this changed my mind. I contacted one of those people who later on turned out to be become my mentor. So this was my first mentee experience, even before I had joined Toastmasters. You see, that my mentor had actually been involved in televising that contest. That's why it was on. And that's why I gave her credit for getting me involved in Toastmasters. And I was very happy to have her as my mentor once I actually got involved in the club. Now, that's the sort of things that we need somehow. We got to get people's attention. See, once I was willing to start looking forward, there were a lot of people in the Toastmasters system, including my mentor, who helped me check out some clubs, see which clubs I wanted to join, and eventually helped me join, and then get on with my first icebreaker speech. But the big problem was getting me to even look at the possibility of becoming a Toastmaster. I've tried myself going to malls, for example, putting up stands with all sorts of signs on it saying Toastmasters is good for you. This is all the advantages of Toastmasters. This is where we meet and all that sort of stuff. Only to have people struggle by as quickly as they can, as if they're absolutely terrified that we might jump out and bite them or something. We had horns and tails, even we're awful people, okay? Just like the way I used to think that people were like that, who could actually speak well in public. Now, this is the sort of thing we need. How do we get our experience out in the field? Now, in my case, it was on a local TV channel, but this is back over 20 years ago. Hardly anybody watches broadcast TV anymore. I don't even know if those community channels exist anymore, or if anybody watches them. I have no idea. But we do know that there's an awful lot of multimedia going on these days. And well, I've been trying along that line. I've made some YouTube videos, and I put them on my Facebook so I can turn to publish them a little bit. But they don't get in front of the right people. They don't, and if they do get in front of the right people, they're not looked at in a proper way. And I think that's because Facebook, YouTube are money-making things. Yes, we can put content in there, but to get them in front of the right people requires money. I don't have the money. Facebook makes millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars a year, because some people have got a lot of money and they put it into Facebook, YouTube, whatever. They get it in front of the right people so that they can get their message across. Like what happened in my case, quite by accident. But we need something more deliberate than that. We need something working. Now, there are people who claim to be multimedia experts. Well, we got to see how well this works. But right now, I think, and this is my request, is that division or district, whatever, whoever's got some money for advertising, take this idea, put some money behind it, get it out to YouTube, Facebook, or whatever, so that it gets out in front of people's faces, the right people again, get them in front of the right people's faces, so they too, like me, can see what Toastmasters is all about, so that it's ready. So they will be ready and able to accept an invitation to come to a club and then find out just how great Toastmasters really is. And of course, we have to have new members every year or else we fade away. So Toastmasters, we need something to replace the members who leave. We need to have some sort of multimedia campaign or whatever it is to work now. So how are we going to do this? Well, Toastmasters, that's my question. How are we going to make this work? That'll Toastmasters.